Welcome back to B-Side Banter. This is episode 23, and I am here with epotty. You've probably seen her. She is a huge Tyler, the Creator fan, and I'm sure when I say that, you know what we're going to be talking about today because we just had a surprise release of a brand new album. Super exciting. And because I know Tyler, the Creator is your favorite artist, I just thought we had to do this. I'm like rushing to get this out today, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'll kick it to you, and you can just talk a little bit about yourself, your channel, what you do on the socials, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I'm epotty. I make TikToks and videos about everything related to music. It kind of started with this love for Tyler the Creator, which is so amazing because that's what kind of started my love for music, period. My first video that ever kind of like blew up was like a Tyler the Creator ranking. And ever since then, I've been making content about his music and all the music that I love. I love doing like music recommendations and kind of a quirky way. So, recommending a movie to watch based on your favorite artist,
Mm.
or a place to go in Brooklyn based on your favorite artist or your favorite song, as well as some funnier stuff like green flag and red flag
Yeah,
artists,
yeah,
music matchmaking. I've kind of fallen into this place where I've started to really love making content that kind of revolves around uh, relating music to both dating and personality because I do feel like there's such an overlap there.
mm.
And I just feel like it's become such a fun thing. Whenever I make a video, like a music matchmaking video, people send it to their partners and they're like, oh my God, like we're a perfect match. Or like,
Yeah.
oh my
It's
God,
awesome.
we're like not compatible at all.
Yeah. Oh no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
so that's kind of like where my platform is and where it kind of flourishes. I love just doing content that kind of recommends music to people in a non-conventional way. I feel like there's so much content out there that I try to
Yeah.
stand out in that way to say like, okay, like how can we relate this to yourself, to your life, just make it a little bit more relatable and something that you can share with others. So I've found a lot of joy doing that. And I also, like I said, I started my account with like a love for Tyler the Creator and like a love for hip hop music.
Mm.
But with that said, I love being able to create this audience that I feel like trusts me, that I'm able to recommend other music outside of that. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm also a huge fan of Father John Misty. He's my
mm.
other favorite artist.
Yeah,
Completely different than Tyler the Creator,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's been so fun having people that I built that core audience with say like, "Oh, like I just tried out Father John Misty because you said you liked him, and now he's one of my favorite artists too." So it's
Yeah.
just been something that's been so fun and has really just been the goal of mine since I started this, was to kind of, get people to engage with music that they wouldn't think that they would have otherwise listened to.
Yeah, totally. And I really enjoy your series, the like red flag, green flag. I'm sure you get like all, especially when you do red flag artists, I'm sure you get all kinds of just comments being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, because obviously calling out certain people's, there's some safe, artists that you call red flag artists. For example, Kanye, you can just call that a red flag artist. But there's some that I'm sure you've gotten a few comments that are like, "Hey, that's rude."
People get so butthurt about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you know what? Sometimes it is what it is. Like you said, there's the cut and dry um Kanye West. It's like, okay, like if I was on a date with someone and they said their favorite artist was Kanye West, I'd be like, whoa,
yeah,
okay, we're really
yeah,
saying that right now in 2025. All right, that tells me a lot about you.
yeah.
But then, there's other ones that aren't so cut and dry. Like, I went on Giggins' podcast
Mhm.
last week or 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and I
saw that.
talked about an artist, Quideka, and he asked me, is he a green flag or red flag? And I was like, okay, like he's one of my favorite artists, but kind of red flag. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hey, as long as you can like laugh about it and you can kind of admit, like, yeah, this is kind of a red flag. I get that. I love Quebec as well, but I get that. And do you think sometimes it's like associated with the fan base that that person is that kind of where you're basing it, or is it more so to do like obviously with Kanye, it has everything to do with his personality and what he's like up to, but like with
Mhm.
some, is it their fan base or is it like the content of what is being lyrically or whatever?
It's a little bit of a blend of both. Like, let's say, when I say like Playboy Cardi is a red flag, I do feel like that's mainly based in the fan base. Like,
Yeah.
their fan base is just a little hostile and argumentative.
Mm,
Whenever I make content about his music, the fans are commenting like very aggressive things all the time. I think they really kind of have this really intense herd mentality.
mm,
Um, and they're the kind of fan base that I feel like can't see nuance or can't see like, okay, my favorite artist can do something wrong or
Yeah.
my favorite artist can make bad music. Like they kind of have tunnel vision in that way. So for that one, I feel like it's like mainly based in the fan base, but I think in the past I also said that an artist like SZA can kind of be seen as a red flag because love her music and love her to death, but at the same time, a lot of her music and lyrics deal with like complicated relationships
mm,
and mixed
Sure.
signals and
Mhm.
situationships. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if you can kind of make the argument that maybe if that's what you're really drawn to, then maybe you have some red flag
Yeah.
tendencies in music.
Yeah, absolutely. If this is what you're relating to all the time, then there could be some red flags here. That's so true. Um, this is like totally unplanned, but would you be down to just do like some really rapid fire? Like I name an artist, you give me red flag, green flag, or beige
Let's do
flag. I
it.
don't know. All right.
I'm ready.
All right. So let's just hit off some big artists. Taylor Swift.
Red flag. Red
Okay.
flag.
Red
Yeah.
flag. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna be upsetting some people here, but this is okay. Justin Bieber.
Green flag.
Okay, green flag. Okay, nice. I like that. What about Ed Sheeran?
Green flag.
Green flag. Okay. Let's get like a little country. Morgan Wallen.
Red flag. Reddest
Like a
flag.
huge red flag. I saw the
Reddest
look.
flag possible.
That's so awesome. Okay. Kendrick Lamar.
Green flag.
Green flag. Okay. Drake.
Red flag.
Red flag. Okay. So we see now which side of the beef you are on. Okay. Okay. We're getting in
Exactly.
some insight. What about let's go with have you heard of this is like kind of in the vein of Playboy Cardi, but have you heard of Osama Sun?
No, I haven't.
Okay. What about Ken Carson?
Red flag.
Okay. Well, which, it's all rage rap, so I'm sure that you'd probably extend the red flags out to the people within that genre. Um and now I'm starting. What about this is going to be a throwback. John Mayer.
Ooh, the red flag. Yeah.
Red. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. I can relate. What about Bon Iver?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go red flag.
Okay, yeah. He's been sad for a long time. Maybe his new album is Green Flag. I don't know. He finally got happy, but
It varies on albums too.
yeah. Yeah. And what about Sabrina Carpenter?
Red flag.
Okay. Olivia Rodrigo. Let's just hit some pop girlies here.
Green flag.
Green Flag. Okay. And what about this? Is the last one. What about have you heard Addison Rae's new stuff?
Okay, this is gonna be tough. Um, I'm going to say red flag for Addison.
Okay.
It's a nuanced answer. I do feel like with Addison, her fan base and the people that are gravitating towards her music are again kind of leaning towards this like herd mentality. They want to believe it's cool because everyone's saying that it's cool, but I don't
Sure.
think that they're actually looking at the content of her music, the content of her art, where it comes from, and where she comes from. Feels a little,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay. Well, I like that answer, and I'm gonna do. I said that was the last one. I'm gonna do one more just to stay in the vein of like TikTok influencers slash just influencers. What about Alex Warren?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say green flag. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Like people are really hating on him. I don't see anything wrong with him.
Yeah, I haven't seen yet. Have you seen like kind of the fallout of his album because he just dropped this past Friday? I haven't been looking at what people have been saying about it. Have you listened to it?
I haven't listened to the album and I haven't seen too much backlash or discourse about it on TikTok at least. I know that there's
Yeah,
obviously a lot of discourse about his single Ordinary,
yeah.
which I actually really like. I'm so sorry, but I actually like it.
Hey, that's totally fine. It's it is an extremely catchy song, and, like, I think the main backlash is that, like, it's just generic pop, but it's like, sometimes generic pop is just great. Like, just because
I
it's generic doesn't mean it's bad.
I completely agree, and I feel like we're kind of falling in this hole, especially with since the rise of TikTok and, giving everyone the ability to voice their opinions, we're kind of
Yeah.
falling into this hole where it almost feels like we're in this competition to out abstract the other when it
Yeah.
comes to art and music.
Yeah.
And I think we're forgetting the fact that not every music release that comes out has to be this groundbreaking, genre defying, you know, song or album. It can just be what it is, and that's fine. There's a space for that too. So,
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
I love abstract and avant-garde music and art,
Mhm. Mhm.
we still need to make space for the generic stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, totally, and, like, honestly, that was, like, a big reason why I moved away from like, I was for a while doing, like, just the typical reviews and
Mhm.
stuff like that, lists, etcetera, and I just, like, moved away from it because I was like first of all, I didn't feel like I was enough of a character and could set, enough of the pie aside for myself, but then for 2, I was like, I just felt tired doing it, so I was like, "Why don't I just talk to people that are doing a great job already and already, like, are just killing it because then we can have discussions and it can be a lot of fun that way and then I don't have to do something that I'm like this is like why do I feel like I need to sit down and listen to this album I probably never would just you know what I mean like that was kind of at the peak of it I was like I don't think I would ever listen to this but I'm sitting down and listening to it because I feel like I need to get views or whatever so yeah it's the rise of TikTok has brought about a lot of good things, but then definitely a lot of like the negative side as well.
Mhm. Some good, some bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely love the space and community that it's created where
Mm.
I don't know, I feel like so many people that wouldn't be doing what they're doing now if it wasn't for TikTok. I think
Yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
that that exists is beautiful, including myself.
Absolutely.
I never really thought a career in music journalism or music reviews or
Mhm.
music curation was ever possible for me, but
Yeah.
with TikTok it kind of was. So it's
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful thing, but then at the same time there is such thing as too much discourse, too much
Yeah.
conversation because I just
Yeah.
feel like causes this pendulum in
Mhm.
terms of conversation to swing a little too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Well, we would be remiss to not talk about Tyler the Creator now. So that was good. I'm glad that we did this like rapid fire green flag, red flag because that like honestly that was probably I do like your matchmaking stuff, but I really love the green flag, red flag stuff. So glad we did that. But let's move on to Tyler the Creator. You just came back last night. You just went to his show, and so maybe talk about how amazing that was.
It was the best night of my life.
Mm.
It was the best night of my life, I swear. Um, my whole day changed yesterday when I saw it announced. I was like, "Oh my god, forget all of my plans.
Yeah.
Everything is focused now to getting to this concert." So, I didn't get the immediate release, like the $10 tickets. So,
Yeah.
hustled on over to StubHub to see what I could get, and
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad for
Okay.
me. Like I would have paid $10,000, but
Yeah, exactly.
I really would have. And, we got there and there was a long line and we waited in a line for a long time. But once we got in, it was really easy. And we got this great spot right towards the front, dead center in front of the stage. And we were like, oh my God, we have like the perfect view for him. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Um, wasn't crazy crowded. Crowd was very respectful, very, very nice, very fun. And then Tyler comes out and he's like, I am not going to be performing this on this stage. I'm just going to kind of be dancing with you guys if that's
That's
okay.
so
And
cool.
so we popped down and at first I was like, okay, like this is just going to be like a flat out like listening party. Like that's fine.
Mhm.
But he had a mic on him the whole time and he was pretty much like performing all the songs as they were playing, which was really, really fun. And it just felt like a giant like dance party in Brooklyn on the street. It was just so much fun. I wasn't in the mosh. I was kind of like separated from it, but I was
That's
still
good.
able to be like so close.
Yeah.
Um, and so everyone was dancing, having a good time. He played one song on stage, which was "Stop Playing with Me," which he said was his favorite song on the album. So he
Okay.
did that, and then he kind of switched sides from which side of this, of the crowd he stood on. And then once he played the whole album through, he was like, "Should I play it again? Should I run it back?"
That's
And he played the whole thing all over again.
that's amazing. Well, it is a short album, so that's pretty awesome that he did it twice.
Oh my god, and the energy was even more lit on the second
Mm.
on the second run.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So jealous. Just jealous of. I saw several people that were going to kind of like his stuff there over the last several days, and
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, maybe I need to be in New York. I don't know.
Probably cool now.
But yeah, definitely super jealous. He would never do something like that in Nashville, understandably so. But sad for me. But let's get into like the origins. Like, when did you start with your love for Tyler?
So I was probably 12 or 13, and I remember it so clearly. I was watching the MTV Music Video Awards with my parents, and Tyler the Creator won Best Music Video for his song Yonkers.
Mm,
And so he gets up on stage with the entire Odd Feature crew, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And my dad was like, "Whatever you do, do not Google him. Do not look him up." Because my dad obviously knew who he was
yeah.
because he's the one that's tapped into music.
Mm,
So obviously the first thing I did when I went to bed was Google him and look him up. And I watched the music video and I watched plenty of others, and just something really clicked for me. And I felt like for the first time in my life, I found something that just felt really unique and special to and for me. I growing up, I always kind of liked weirder, quirkier, darker things. I love scary movies.
mhm.
Sweeney Todd was my favorite movie, so I was kind of always drawn
Nice.
to like a darker kind of aesthetic. And
Yeah.
so when I saw that music video and I saw his other music videos and albums that he had released up to that point, I just was like, "Oh my god, like I found it. This is it. This is it for me."
Mhm.
Um and it just became a really special thing for me where I felt like, "Oh, like I finally have something music that I feel like is mine and I can just like enjoy it for myself, finding music for the first time that like your parents aren't showing you or your friends aren't
Mm,
showing you."
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and it just felt really special to me, and even at the same time as special as it felt, it also felt like a little isolating because being in middle school and everyone saying like, "Oh, like let's listen to like Hannah Montana and let's listen to like Justin Bieber," and I was like, "I'm gonna listen to Odd Future."
Yeah. Yeah.
And just feeling like I didn't have anyone to talk to about it or relate
Mm,
to about it with. And then that's why, like, when I started my page, it was such a beautiful thing because I was like, "Oh my God, I finally have this like place where I can make friends to talk about my favorite artist, and all these people love this artist too."
mm.
And so it just really kind of grew from there and became like a little family. So that's kind of like my origin story.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so that would have put you like checking out Tyler like at Goblin time. So like 2011. I guess if he would have won maybe 2012, I don't know. Anyway, that's pretty
Think
ground
about it.
floor. That's pretty ground floor. Um, what what was kind of your reaction to his like career arc? Because those early albums, he was quite like silly and like more unserious, and then kind of Flower Boy was like like maybe a little bit on Cherry Bomb, but Flower Boy was kind of a transition. Then he gets a little more
Mhm.
serious. What's your kind of like impression of that? Were you disappointed when that first happened? Did you love it?
No, I think that being kind of like a super fan from a really early stage, it almost felt like I knew him or like I knew where his head was at. And it was clear that from his earlier music that he was in a very depressive state. He was depressed and angry at himself and angry at the world around him.
Mhm.
His music was filled with a lot of self-hatred and, just anger towards the world. And
Yeah.
so being a young teen, obviously you can kind of relate to some of those feelings. But when he did come out with an album like Flower Boy, where he kind of, you see him grow so much and blossom from this bud into this beautiful flower that accepts who he is in a really large way by coming out of the closet and all these other things. It was so beautiful to watch. I was like, wow, I've really gotten to see this artist who went from hating himself and hating the world around him and being so angry at everything to coming to love himself and be so appreciative of the world around him and appreciative of who he's becoming. And I was at a similar state too, again, like going from being like a 12-year-old to being, I don't know, 17, 18-year-old. Um, it just felt kind of full circle and it just kind of felt like I was growing with him.
Mhm.
Um, so it felt like coming of age. His music, and that's how his music has always felt to
Mhm.
me. Even though Flower Boy like isn't my favorite Tyler album,
Mhm.
um, it's probably his most important album for that reason.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. We'll have to get into kind of why the thoughts on why that isn't one because that to me, I feel like in terms of re-listenability, that's like the one I go back to the most is Flower Boy. I don't know if I would say it's his like best constructed album, but I just love the vibes on that. And I'm always returning to it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Odd Future. Did you do you feel like you were much more a Tyler the Creator fan, or did you feel like Odd Future was like a bigger thing for you?
Oh, Odd Future was my entire preteen and teenage experience. Like,
Nice. Yeah.
I watched Loiter Squad, I would go to shows. I was also a huge Earl fan,
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
Sid fan, huge Frank fan.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I just felt really drawn to the community that they were building and drawing.
Yeah.
In some ways, I felt like I could resonate with it again, like as a preteen teenager who was maybe kind of angsty, rebellious.
Mm.
But at the same time, I was very kind of like by the book and to the rules kind of kid
Okay.
in certain
Okay.
ways. So
Nice.
I was really just drawn to something that just felt so opposite to my experience. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't going out and being a rebel rouser. Like I kind of was like, I was a pretty like, by the book kid. So I just felt really drawn to it in that way. And I loved their style of humor.
Mhm.
Um, and so, and it was just such a unique thing at the time. Something like that hadn't really existed before, that kind of collective mentality. And now it almost feels like everything and everyone is a collective, especially here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but they're kind of the inventors of that. So I was super drawn to it and just, I think I've always gravitated towards people and things that push the boundaries and push things forward. And so I feel like that's why I loved Odd Future so much.
Mhm. Yeah. Is there a hip hop group better than them in at least like in recent years within the years that they were around?
Brockhampton is good for
Yeah.
sure. They're nowhere near, Odd Future or Tyler the Creator level, and they are different things, but I would say Brockhampton probably comes the closest.
Mhm.
Um, I love their music. Don't get me wrong when I say this, but I do remember seeing them in 2019 at Gov Ball and kind of just the energy that they had collectively on stage just didn't feel as magnetic, I would say,
Sure.
to like
Yeah.
maybe something like Odd Future.
Yeah. Um, I'm not like in the loop of this, so there could be something I don't know, but like, do you think that there's any chance that there will be any sort of like reunion of Odd Future?
My hopes really got up when when Tyler dropped his album a couple
Mm,
days ago because there's a
yeah.
line on it where he's like, "Odd Future, whole crew's here." I was like, "Okay," like
Oh,
I was
okay.
like,
I
"Here
didn't
we
catch
go,
that.
we're coming
Yeah.
back."
Yeah.
I know that he is still friends with a lot of them.
Mhm.
I would love to see a world where there's an Odd Future Tape 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my soul would leave my body if that
Yeah.
happened.
Mhm.
Like someone call and check on me if it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and like I feel like the hip hop groups like they ebb and flow so much. They come in waves. Like it's almost like when Odd Future was happening, like there were so many other kind of like hip hop groups and but then there was like a time where there really weren't any, and now it's like now that Clips is back, they just dropped like
Mhm.
their album. It's like, "Oh, are we going to get some of this like new well and even like what's his name? Kevin Abstract with like Blush, like you know what I mean? Like that it feels like it's like we want to do something like and it would be really cool if some of those older groups that have some people that everybody follows now. Like Odd Future is so crazy. Like they're probably one of the craziest in the sense that like you've got Frank, Tyler, and Earl. Like obviously you've got some others as well, but I would say those are probably maybe Sid. Those are probably the
Yeah.
biggest out of them, and it's like these are some huge heavy hitters. You know, for them to come back would be outrageous, but yeah, that would be really cool. I would also love to see that. Probably more than seeing the Clips like reunion. I just wasn't as into Clips
Mm,
as I was Odd Future. Yeah.
mm. And in this conversation of duos, I want to give a little shout out. They're not like an official duo with an official name, but the JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown
Mm, yeah.
collab album, Scaring the
Yeah.
Host, a couple years ago, I
Mhm.
think was such a beautiful thing. I think both of their fan bases combined to create this kind of world of Scaring the Hose. It just fully
Yeah.
encapsulates like everything that their music is about. And I thought it
Mhm.
was so tongue in cheek and so funny, but at the same time, the music was so, so good. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that we get volume two on that one.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, absolutely. That was such a good record. Um the other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on Tyler, obviously, is with this new album. What did you
Mm.
think? How, like, obviously, the fact that it was a surprise drop album was amazing. And I don't know what are these artists doing to us? We have Justin Bieber dropping out of nowhere. We have Tyler just dropped. And then Drake, like, not that I'm a huge Drake fan, but he just posted 9 p.m. So, like, is he dropping his album? Like, this is insane. Like, they're trying to kill us.
Like, I have whiplash, okay?
Yeah,
Like, I can't keep doing this.
I
Like, it's
know.
just getting crazy. Um, uh, I love the Tyler album. I think it's really, really good. I've gotten a little annoyed. Maybe I'm just like a defensive fan, but I saw a couple of videos from creators saying that they didn't like the album or didn't think it was good, that it's like his worst or like whatever. I'm just like, you're just saying stuff to say stuff, or like just saying stuff to get views, or like just rage baiting, and like that has just got me really annoyed. But I just think that again, when it comes to this idea, that it draws back to the idea of not everything has to be the headiest, like most complex thing you've ever heard for it to be good or for it to
Yeah.
be valid. You know, and Tyler the Creator can come out with an album that's heavily inspired by late 80s hip hop,
Mm.
90s hip hop, even 2000s R&B, and just kind of create this vibe, like an album that's kind of like more based on vibe and sound. And that is also could be a really good album. It doesn't have to be super complex. It doesn't have to be, highly emotional. He just came out with an album that
Yeah.
was very deep and very personal on some very intimate topics. So, um, I just think that it was a great album to kind of listen to and have fun. It's great for the summer. And I love everything that he's doing in terms of emulating some of those sounds from the past and emulating some of his maybe like favorite artists. Like there's huge like Gorillaz influence on there,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously NERD, um, even kind of like some Black Eyed Peas inspired
Yeah.
beats.
Yeah.
So who can be mad at that? Like I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I and maybe that is it, like, uh, didn't Tyler, like, put something out that was like, "Don't judge this album, like, don't compare this to Chromacopia," or whatever, like, didn't he put something out that was, like, pretty specifically that?
Yeah, yeah, because someone had posted, okay, which one is your favorite, Chromacopia or
Mm,
um, Don't Tap the Glass? And he replied to it and he was like, don't even try to compare these
yeah.
two albums. First of all, it's only been hasn't even been 24 hours yet.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And he was like, second of all, like you're comparing one album that is about bragging and about hooking up and dancing to an album
Mm,
that has to deal with introspection and topics about abortion and aging. So he was like, the fact that you
yeah.
can even try to compare these two is just insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I think that's the issue is like so many people want to because he dropped Chromacopia and it was, great, amazing album like you said, so introspective, dealing with some really tough and heavy topics and kind of like a full, like, I don't know, it felt like it was almost full circle on like his maturity. Like it felt like this was like him like getting out of this like adolescence, even though he is not an adolescent anymore, but it just felt like that was like him kind of wrapping up the arc of what he's put out so far, and
Mhm.
he's like kind of coming to terms with a lot of the things that he maybe started in some previous albums. And so it's like it's just such an amazing album, but then yeah, you get this and it's like it's not it's almost like almost imagine it like it's not even like him, like it is him obviously, and you can tell that it's him, but it's like it's so different. It's not him trying to like build on what he just did. I felt like it was more so like, and he wasn't he was pretty, like, funny and, non-serious for sure. It felt like he was kinda going back to some of his earlier stuff, not necessarily sonically so much as just, like, content-wise. He just wanted to have fun, it seemed like.
Yeah, and be a little edgier, have some
Yeah.
funnier lyrics. Um, And so I think that was great. And it definitely does sound like a newer sound from him, but I do feel like there is a lot of remnants from his past works. You know, a song like Stop Playing With Me sounds very Igor to me. Like it
Mhm.
almost sounds like reminiscent of a song like New Magic Wand or What's Good, very kind of
Yeah.
industrial, hard hitting. Um, Definitely some like Cherry Bomb inspired beats on there, which is always fun when he does that because I feel like on Cherry Bomb, he didn't exactly knock it out of the park, at least for me.
Mm.
So it's fun seeing him way more talented 10 years later,
Yeah.
just like taking that sound where like the bones were good
Mm.
and just improving on it tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like some of this commentary is probably just too rushed. People are just trying, like, because it came out of nowhere. People haven't been like, and there were no singles leading up to it, so nobody's like had time to kind of think of what they want to form as an opinion. So they're just like throwing anything at it. They're just like, I got to get this like takeout because it's got to be the first one or at least like early, and it's just like that. You're gonna regret that take. You're probably gonna have to take it back.
For sure. And I think that again, like when it comes to like we were saying this discourse or enhanced discourse on TikTok and Twitter, it just feels like we're kind of getting into this space where we're forcing ourselves into a very one-dimensional way of thinking and talking about music just for kind of views and engagement. Um, of course, maybe like a post like, oh, like which one is better, Chromacopia or Don't Tap the Glass, because a lot of people will comment and like argue with each other, and that boosts your engagement. But we're comparing two things that are completely different, and that had a completely different intents and purposes. Sometimes you don't like we just need to be a little bit more nuanced about how we talk about music if we're going to do it on the internet with an audience.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so it seems, I'm assuming this, but it seems like you really enjoyed the album. You would probably fit it fairly high within an updated album ranking. Where would you put it if you were to update your ranking? And I don't know if I even know what your ranking would be, so this is going to be all new to me. But if you were to update your Tyler rankings for albums, where would you have this? And what
Okay.
would be everything else, I guess, too?
Okay. So, gonna start with Cherry Bomb. dead last.
Okay.
And then again, this is just my list. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I would probably put Flower Boy next.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then after that, I'm gonna go with Bastard. And then after that, I'm gonna go Goblin.
Yep.
Then after that, I'm going to go Chromacopia.
Okay. Nice.
After that, I'm going to go Wolf.
Great, great album. Loved Wolf.
Okay, scratch that. Don't Tap the Glass.
And then Wolf.
And then Wolf.
Okay.
And then Igor.
Did you say Call Me If You Get Lost? You might have.
I knew I was forgetting one.
Yeah.
Okay. Call Me If You Get Lost is in between. It's in between Chromacopia and Don't Tap the Glass.
Okay.
So I guess that would be like fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I like that. Okay. So, you have Don't Tap the Glass very high then.
I like it a lot. It's simple, it's straightforward, it
Yeah.
gets to the point.
Hmm.
I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
wait, yes. What did I say? It's Cherry Bomb, Flower Boy,
Bastard.
Bastard, Goblin,
Hmm.
uh, and then that would be
Chromacopia.
Chromacopia, Call Me If You Get Lost, Don't Tap the Glass, Wolf, Igor.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Talk a little bit about Igor. Obviously, that is like his magnum opus. It's like I don't think anybody would say that Igor isn't. Well, maybe like we're saying about TikTok discourse, maybe somebody would, but I think for the most part, it's like it's his best album, and everybody knows it. Um, yeah, what like you would have been listening to that, you would have been there for the rollout, for the drop, for everything. Maybe you even saw his tour, I don't know, for that. Talk about what, as a super fan, what did Igor mean to you when that came out?
Well, it was especially special to me at that time because I had just gone through a breakup three
Yeah,
days
so
before the
timely.
album came out.
Mhm.
So it really was perfect for that time. Um, it came out, and I remember, yeah, about 3 or 4 days later, I went to go see him at Gov Ball, and he performed almost the entire album. And
Wow.
I just remember I was with my dad, and he was like, "Didn't this album come out 3 days ago?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Everyone's singing all the words." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah. We've all
yeah,
listened to it 100 times already.
exactly." And so I think in that moment, it was clear just how powerful and lasting that album was going to be. It was an energy unlike anything that I had seen, especially for a Tyler release.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it hit so hard because I think Tyler did a beautiful thing on it. I think he took a very universal experience and wrapped it in not only this package that's universal and so relatable, but that is engaging and unique and different. You know, he's
Mhm.
telling this story about a three-way relationship, love triangle gone awry
Mm.
between himself, a woman, and a man. So it's like a very kind of like interesting story and a non-conventional story. And even with that story maybe not being unique to everyone, the feelings and the lyrics and the thought that he put into it, I think, is something that just really resonated with people on such a deep level, including myself. And I just really feel like on that album, he perfectly captures every stage of grief, relationship grief, like through each song, which I think is such a unique way of storytelling. You know, we have the infatuation stage, and then we have the resentment stage, and we have the denial stage, and we have the acceptance stage, and the forgiveness stage with the last couple songs. So
Yeah.
um, I just I love that he made an album that reads almost like a book or like watching a movie, and it's so powerful that it doesn't even need the visuals. The songs just convey it themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's one of the greatest albums ever. I really do.
Yeah, it's like it's a huge, huge album, and his storytelling, like you said, everything you said, it was so powerful. I was gonna ask, but I would assume your answer already because you think it's one of the best albums ever. I was gonna say, is it one of the best breakup albums ever? And I would assume you
Easy,
say yes.
easy,
Yeah,
easy. Yes, yes. I recommend it to everyone that comments on my videos and says like, "I need an album for a breakup." Immediately, Igor. Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's just an album that I feel like can help you really process your feelings and help you deal with it and help you realize that you're not alone and that like it's okay to kind of feel every single emotion under the spectrum. Like it's okay to feel angry
Yeah.
at that person, it's okay to feel angry at yourself, and it's okay to forgive them, and it's okay to forgive yourself and move on with your life. Like it just covers everything and it's so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. Do you think that he is going to put out like obviously Don't Tap the Glass is like I wouldn't say it's like him like it's a fun album. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a happy album. Do you think
Mm.
he's going to like pull out a happy album?
Yeah, I think I have this almost sneaking suspicion. I can be wrong, and I hope I am wrong, but I almost feel like and wonder if Tyler feels like he's accomplished a lot of the things that he set out to accomplish in his music.
Mm.
You know, is it necessary for him to come out with another Igor, you know, to come
Yeah.
out with another complex concept album that wins Grammys? Maybe necessarily not.
Mhm.
I feel like he's kind of tapped into a lot of different genres and sounds, and I think he's mastered the sounds that he wants to. So I almost wonder if Tyler's just a little bit more concerned with having fun at this point and
Yeah.
creating albums that are just circulated around more fun, like this most recent release, Don't Tap
Mm.
the Glass. I can see him dropping maybe like a jazz album down the line.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
amazing.
it would be. I could see him dropping something just like very strictly R&B.
Mm.
But I do feel like these projects would be more based in, you know, his love for music rather than like hitting another notch on the pool.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, or like going deeper down like the introspection. Like it feels like he's already done that with like obviously Igor, but then I really felt like he kind of like stopped that almost to a degree with Chromacopia. Like I feel like how much further can you go than that
Hmm.
really?
Yeah, no, that's an album that also, again, like I said, hits a lot of really deep and personal topics, and in a way that he's not sacrificing the sound on there either. Like
Yeah.
even though it's a
Yeah.
really darkly themed album, there's so many
Yeah.
songs that sound so bright and colorful. Like I thought I killed you is a song that has to deal with
Mm.
your self hatred and not loving yourself because you look different.
Yeah.
But it has such a quirky, strange instrumental with it that like interpolates like a kid's
Mm.
nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Or a song
Yeah.
like Balloon. It's just so fun.
Mhm.
Um, so
Absolutely.
we'll see where he goes next, but I doubt it'll be in the darker concept album range.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think like I guess I'll ask this, and then I was gonna ask you about something else. But do you think that he is at the top of kind of the like rappers in current right now? I know it's tough to do. Like it's tough to touch Kendrick as he is right now with
Yeah.
everything that he's been doing. But do you feel like he's either at that top or that he can be that like where it's like the undisputed like that he's just the best. He's the best at the game right now.
Yeah. I think without a doubt, at the very least, he is in the top three most influential artists
Mm.
of the past 15 years. Easy. I think a lot of people, when they are talking about that top three rapper discussion, whenever Tyler comes up, people pretty heavily argue just like the rapping ability
Yeah,
aspect
sure.
of it, like,
Mhm.
and just saying that his flow and bars maybe just like aren't really on par with someone like Kendrick Lamar anywhere close to it. Um, I would like to see how the discourse around this most recent album plays out. Um, because it is a little bit more hip hop focused. I'm a little curious to see what the discourse around him in that space is in about a month or so. Um, but I definitely think that he's proved himself to be able to be not just a great rapper, but a great artist in general. And I have no qualms with like including him in that top three discussion. It's tough because there's so many other kind of like just more solid rappers that I would maybe
Sure.
want to throw in there. JID is really incredible in terms
Yeah.
of hitting all of those boxes, flow, bars, rhythm. Like he's just great.
Yeah.
Denzel Curry
Yeah.
is phenomenal and has so much range. Um, so there's a couple other people that I would maybe say, okay, we gotta break this
Yeah.
down a little bit.
Yeah, totally. But if you're like thinking of platform as well, like Tyler would be like leaps and bounds above them, I would say.
For
Like in
sure.
terms of yeah. Yeah. And like I feel like finding the third is tough. Like I know that J. Cole is like one, but it's like he hasn't done anything for a long time. So how do you put him there? Like
I know. I personally just can't sleep with that idea that J. Cole is in the top three. He's very influential and he has some great music, but I feel like it kind of just stopped and he hasn't had much growth since he did stop.
yeah.
Um, if his last album that he came out with was like amazing and like really showed that he was like the top of his game and that he like just I was at a level that couldn't be touched, and I'd say like for sure. But that Might Delete Later was like so sad
Oh yeah, I
that
know. Yeah.
we all just want to forget that it happened.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but I do recognize that there are some people that are really, really crazy about J. Cole. My boyfriend's like, he always brags that he's like in the top 0.3% of J. Cole.
Nice. Nice. Okay. That's amazing.
Like,
That's
so I hope you can't hear me, but
Hey, well that begs the question. J. Cole, green flag or red flag?
you know what? Just for that sake, I'm gonna have to say green flag.
That was a softball right there. Oh gosh. What I was gonna ask you before is I'm just curious, like for people that maybe don't know a whole lot about Tyler the Creator, which I would be really surprised if a lot of them existed that are like enjoyers of hip hop, but maybe for listeners that aren't in the world of hip hop a ton, maybe break down like some of like his characters that he's had over the years, because like that's something that not a whole lot of artists do, but when it happens and it's done well, it's like really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially his earlier works, like, do follow so much of this like heavy concept theme and plot where like there were linear plots going out throughout the first three. Um so we have well, I'll start with Igor. Igor, the character of Igor, I feel like is supposed to embody again like the darkest version of yourself that you
Mm,
become like when you go through a breakup. It's kind of like this looming monster that you feel coming out from inside of you and you're like, who is this person? Like, who am I?
mm.
And I love that he named it Igor, just like equating it with like a monster.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and he distorts his face on the album cover to make it look kind of like more monstrous.
Mm,
And so I feel like that's kind of the character um, on Igor. On Goblin, he has this kind of character where he is talking to this therapist kind of character, telling this therapist all of his deep, dark thoughts. And,
mm.
um, they kind of go back and forth throughout the whole album. And it's almost like a devil and angel kind of thing going on
Yeah.
throughout the whole album. And then you come to realize at the end that he's just talking to himself, which is
Mm,
which is great.
yeah.
Um, on Wolf, we have a couple different characters where there's a protagonist and there's another character who is kind of a villainous version again of Tyler. And they're at summer camp together and they're kind of competing for this love interest throughout the album, and um, it kind of becomes a little futile towards the end. Flower Boy, again, the character on there is a character that represents growth and I think full acceptance. Who Flower Boy is, I think Flower Boy is a character that um, is someone that is growing and evolving, and instead of being angry for not being exactly where they want to be or being exactly who they want to be, accepting who they are. Um, so yeah, those are kind of like the main characters, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And like he didn't really necessarily like have a character as much as like that was just kind of his costume for Chromacopia, right? Like it wasn't so much a character as it was just like kind of that.
Yeah, I think I made a video analyzing what I thought chromacopia means, and I kind of broke down that chroma means color and like copia means copious or everything. So it's kind of, and especially with like the design of the cover with everything kind of being like grayscaled and then the letters being bright green and green being a color that symbolizes uh what is it life, and like green is like plants and trees
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like his that character um of the album, or the theme of that album, is being able to see your world around you clearly, almost like a 360 view of it, being able to see everything in color, like almost like going from like a Wizard of Oz type thing, like
Yeah.
watching the movie in black and white, and then all of a sudden it's everything is in color and you can see clearly and
Yeah.
see the world around you for what it is and see
Mhm.
yourself for who you are.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a great breakdown. Yeah, I was kind of like I know that he's like embodied a lot of different characters and I was kind of curious what like if this was like kind of an embodiment of a character or if it was just more so just like what he wanted to present for the album, but we're getting up there in time. I do want to get your 5 favorite Tyler the Creator songs. So maybe we'll end with this. If you can just give us those 5 songs, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. I'm gonna say right now,
Mhm.
favorite song is Run It Up.
Okay.
Love that song.
Mhm.
Um, New Magic Wand,
Yes.
really good. Are We Still Friends?
Yep.
I okay. Let me do an older one. I'm gonna say um Awkward,
Okay.
my fourth. And oh my god. I mean, Igor is like my favorite album, so I have to pick one from
Yeah,
Igor.
that's totally
So
fine.
I Don't Love You Anymore. I think it's like the most underrated Tyler song and song on that album.
Yeah. I guess I never have really looked at rankings of what people I know like the big songs on Igor, but I love that song. I guess I never thought that it would be underrated. I thought it was just like everybody loved that song. That's great.
No one talks about it. But if I
Really?
had to say a couple of my other favorites, just like really quick, because I'd be remiss. Um, Love Nightmare
Mhm.
off of Goblin. That's a great
Yes.
song. Um, I do love Smuckers off of Cherry Bomb.
Mhm.
That's great. I love the closing track on the new album.
Okay.
Uh, and Inglorious off of Bastard.
Nice. And is that your favorite off of the new album, the closing one? What is the name of that?
It's tough. I also really love I'll Take Care of You. That one's
Oh
really
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all just so good.
I'm trying to look at the name of the last one. Tell me what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
That's coming back to me. Yeah. Yeah, that is a great one. Um Man, okay. That's a great list. And you even pretty much hit every album, I think. So
I tried.
yeah, no, that's perfect. Well, super glad that you had the time and did this super last minute. Like I said, I'm going to try to get this out today, recording today, potentially releasing today. So yeah, super happy that you're able to come on and give us some of your time, especially after I'm sure being up really late last night. So amazing. But I knew I needed to talk to you about Tyler the Creator. There was nobody else that I thought
We
of.
just had to.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. I'm sure, sometime down the road we'll have you back on again. I do like having people on a few times just because it's a lot of fun, just, developing this relationship, talking music. It's a lot of fun. So
I
thank
would
you.
love to. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, for those of you listening, go follow her epotty on. You've got TikTok, Instagram. Are you on YouTube or not quite?
Not quite. I do
Okay.
have an account, but we're getting there.
That's the classic story. YouTube is tough. Is really tough.
Really tough. Yeah.
So Instagram, TikTok, you'll find her. Tons of great content. A lot of fun stuff. You even do, when you go to certain events, you even do like street interview type content. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, follow her. And tune in next week for a new episode and a new guest. All right. We'll see you
Yay.
later.
Bye, guys.